of the Adams National Historical Site, where John Adams and John Quincy were born in Braintree. John Adams was born in one house. John Quincy was born in the house right beside it. And then we went over to the old house at Peacefield, which is down.
We got to go inside this time.
Yeah, we were there last May. Didn't get to go inside of it. This time we did. Just beautiful, great story. I love the Adamses. The Adams, like Hamilton, the play, kind of got me into the American Revolutionary War period and what the events leading up and following. And then David McCullough's biography of John Adams really got me into just his life, and then the lives of all those guys. Jefferson, I haven't read Jefferson yet, but Hamilton, Washington, and just the stories, just the way that this nation came to be. And it really started in Boston. I mean, Boston was kind of the melting pot of a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the pushback to what the British were doing, and it just became the center point of the revolution. And so I feel like that history kind of presents itself and works itself into the culture of Boston. So Saturday morning we woke up, Saturday afternoon we finished the tour at the Adams National Historical Site. Really, really beautiful land. We didn't have a whole lot of time to stay around the old house because we hadn't eaten lunch, and we had what was next up, site number 11 or 12, or 10, 11, 12, I think, was the Boston Tea Party, which,
yeah.
so we did 3 tours in Boston. We did the Liberty Trolley tour in Lexington. Oh, by the way, Lexington, Massachusetts is an amazingly beautiful city.
Yes.
The houses are just phenomenal. If I could live anywhere in Massachusetts and near that area, it probably would be Lexington. Though Quincy had some beauty to it as well, but Lexington, every house was just fantastic. So we did Liberty Trolley tour, we did Adams National Historic Site, and we did Boston Tea Party tour. Aubrey, what was your favorite of the 3?
I really liked the Tea Party. It was like a theatrical experience. They had people dressed up in colonial type outfits, and we got little cards of different characters of the times, and we took part in the house meeting. We got to, boo and hiss and huzzah and bye and stomp our feet, which makes watching the Adams HBO series make a lot more sense when you're watching the courtrooms, because people were really loud and like stomping their feet and banging on things and hissing and booing. And you're like, why are they doing that? They don't allow such things anymore in the courtroom. But that's how they express their like or dislike. So we got to hurl some tea over the edge, and it was just, and we went down below and just learned some things. There's one chest that's left over that was kept in a family for generations, and is now back.
It was actually used as a cat litter box at one point.
And a
so I was really frustrated by that, but
so that's kind of cool having that artifact to see that, and they had some fun little videos, and that was my favorite tour, just of the experience. I think the trolley ride probably gave the most information. That guy was really well versed and knew what he was talking about. He was already on his 2nd or 3rd tour of the day when we went, and so it's an hour and a half. So he does this, all day. So he knows his things. But yeah, that was my favorite, was the Tea Party.
Yeah. So of the 3, my favorite. Let me do my surprise was the Tea Party. If you see it, it's not a very big facility. It's got a ship on each side that are replicas of the East India Tea Company trading ships. But the facility is basically like a gift shop. Well, I didn't realize there were like downstairs, upstairs, side rooms, and stuff like that. They have really cool video presentations of the kind of the disagreements between those who would be Tories and those who were the colonists that were frustrated by the taxes. And then there was actually these pictures on the wall started talking. It was King George and Samuel Adams kind of going after each other, arguing against each other, and the real famous line of King George III saying the die has been cast, and so basically it's you guys either submit to us or you got a war on your hands. And so
go kill your friends and family.
Yeah, and so I was most surprised by the Boston Tea Party. The Adams estate, so we had two pretty good tour guides. Jonas was a real young kid. You could just tell he's just got a passion for the kind of the history of the Adamses. He did a pretty good job. But then when we went to the old house at Peacefield. We had a gentleman. What was his name? Can't remember.
Chuck.
It was something like
Kurt.
that. Yeah, it might have been Kurt.
I think it was Kurt.
Just very knowledgeable. Could tell he loved the Adamses and was well versed in it. And so we stayed after actually a few minutes past the tour and chatted with him and the other guy that leads the tours. They're both National State Park employees, tour guides, and they just they're very well versed in Adamses and really a lot of the happenings of the Revolution. So I loved just getting to sit and chat with them, and so Adamses was probably my favorite just because I'm a big fan of John Adams and his story, and especially most specifically his and Abigail's marriage. They just seemed to really love each other in ways that far surpass a lot of what I've seen in this culture these days and even throughout history. So it's just really cool. The Liberty Trolley Tour is probably my most anticipated, and it's not that I didn't like it as much as you're in a trolley and you get out once in Concord, right where the battle starts, right around the area where the battle starts happening in Concord, which is cool. You cross a river that didn't have a bridge there originally during the war or during the battles, and so you kind of learn about kind of how that battle began, how the fighting ensued, and then it was basically a 14-hour battle that ended up back on the Charles River back toward Boston, 11 miles away. So it was really cool. It's not as interactive like with the Adamses. Like you're in the house. Boston Tea Party, you're kind of in the ships. Of course, Boston Tea Party's replicas, but in Concord and Lexington, it's basically just sites and a lot of monuments and stuff like that. So it's cool. All of them were worthwhile. I think the Adamses was just most interactive for me, and kind of was most along the lines of what I enjoyed the most. So Adams, Boston Tea Party was Saturday, July 27th, and then we ended up going to Cask and Flagon outside of Fenway Park for dinner, which I was really concerned that we weren't going to get a table because you got 30,000 people that are gathered to watch a baseball game. I just figured when I say it's next to Fenway, I mean it's like
across the street.
Across the street where Aaron Judge hit a home run that night, and the ball went over the Monster, and the Green Monster is right, like you can see the top of it from Cask and Flagon. And so it's a street. It's like the street width away from the stadium. So we had dinner there. We ended up getting right in immediately. Like it was walked in, like they just walked us straight back. We actually locked our bikes up, and the security guard got mad at us and told us at the end of the night, he's like, next time you come, park your bikes somewhere else. But we chained them there so they couldn't do anything about it. We had a pretty cool server named Colin, who, I think it's Colin, it started with a C, I'm pretty sure it's Colin. Starting law school at Harvard in the fall. He went to
Yale.
Yeah, he went to Yale in Connecticut for his undergrad. Moved out here from California. He just started. He just moved to Boston in June. Super nice guy. We talked to him for a long time. Just a really good time at Cask and Flagon. We had pork belly, burnt ends, which I love barbecue, and it's probably the best barbecue I've ever had. A little expensive, like the serving size. If we didn't get the Fenway burger, the macaroni and cheese, and all three of those things were the best of those three things that I've ever had. The only thing that the baked beans that Aubrey makes are pretty close to their baked beans. If they were
Mine are not as runny.
if they were side by side, we would probably be. I'd probably be like, well, they're both.
Mine has bacon in it.
Yeah, hers has bacon, so that kind of helps out.
But it's still really, really good. I don't mind other people making good things.
Yeah. So that was the end of Saturday. Oh no, it wasn't. I want to talk about what we did after we had dinner.
What did we do
Probably one of our favorite things that we did.
after dinner? Oh, we rode down on the river. Hudson River? Charles River. Sorry. We rode down a river, like on our bikes. It was really pretty. It's really cool to see everybody just relaxing and sitting out in a nice night with hammocks, and just a really beautiful little bike ride down. And then we got my cannoli, Florentine cannoli from Mike's Pastry that was recommended by Cody Todd. He said we needed to get a cannoli. We got one last year, but at like a side restaurant. It was much smaller.